welcome back.
We're back.
I don't know why I said welcome back. It's me that's here for the first time. This is your house.
We have not left this house.
Or this room.
You've barely left the country. You haven't left the house. Just been doing weddings.
Non-stop, endless.
Weddings, construction,
Yeah.
brainstorming, gardening.
Veer from being construction manager to wedding venue person one day to the next. It's very, every day's different.
So I'm a pretty fair weather podcast host. And we took a very, very long winter hiatus because I don't like the dark and the cold. But coming down the driveway at Berwick today, I think one of your farmers might have cut the grass just for us as we drove down. It's really well,
Stephen.
It's really well manicured. I didn't know that farmers cut grass.
It might have been the cows. I don't know.
The cows have they might have cut it in a very, very...
Oh, I know what you mean. It is cut. It's cut in lines. Yeah,
exactly.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's just well-trained cattle.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Some extremely fastidious cattle.
Well, cows chew their cud. Cows chew grass like twice anyway, don't they? So this is like thrice chewed.
Did you say they chew their cud?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Mm.
Cows chew cud?
Yeah.
They regurgitate it from their stomachs.
Yeah.
One of their full stomachs.
What the?
Yeah, so the grass is pre-chewed for them.
So you're telling me there are like 600 aliens out there that have full stomachs?
Yes.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
And this is the 600 head of Berwick cattle
There's a lot
that are looking fantastic at the moment.
Yeah.
We were commenting, I know that there's electric fencing, but it's pretty puny. I would back a kind of, 600 kilogram Berwick cow to smash through one of those if the working conditions aren't right.
We did have an event a while ago, and we had the farmers put a bull in one of the fields that was quite close to the house, and I had to talk to them about it just because I'm sure it's okay. The fences are fine, but I was like, the optics of this are bad. You do not want.
We get Londoners coming up who have never really stepped foot on a farm, and they're the ones who check if the wire's live by grabbing the wire. Or they just grab the wire thinking it's there to guide their path and don't quite realize that that's going to give...
Serves them absolutely right. The other problem with Londoners is they probably think it's a very funny thing to go to bull.
Go to bull.
Have you ever had any bull goading?
I feel like I don't really know about the cows that much, but I feel like the bulls are quite chilled. I feel like they're quite relaxed bulls generally.
I've been to a bull ring.
Yeah, chilled.
A harem of 600 cows and there's 2 bulls.
No wonder they look so tired.
Probably knackered.
No wonder they look so tired.
And a lot of the cows that I've seen today are pregnant, which is very exciting.
Spring has sprung.
Spring has most definitely sprung. But I have to say, I did feel a little bit bad because I'm also enjoying, I wouldn't say necessarily on a daily basis, but I'm enjoying those delicious Berwick crisps.
Oh, great.
Oh,
they're
Different
great.
cows, Stephen. Different cows.
Oh.
Those are the longhorn beef.
And were they the long? Yeah. Well, in my mind, I'm eating those cows every time I eat a crisp.
Our jerseys would never.
Yeah, those cows are made of potatoes. That's how they make the crisps.
Wait, what?
What?
But as I drove down and parked up, you guys have done a lot of work outside as well. The garden is looking amazing. The hedges are clipped.
Yeah.
Summer's coming. So what's going on? Who's the gardener?
We put a lot of work into the gardens. Not me personally. I did a little bit, but it's not for me. I sat on a mower a couple of weeks ago, and it took me pretty much the entire day to get around the gardens on this little go-kart.
Will sat on his phone and made a phone call and just doubled the gardener's time. That's Will's contribution.
To be fair, in my defense, I did some building this season. I did some tiling.
Yeah, that's true.
A new kitchen.
When we first started Berwick as a business, there were a number of people who told us that we would never ever get this business off the ground unless we were willing to learn how to garden.
Really?
And I think that Will's determined to prove them wrong.
What a slight niche bit of advice or a slightly niche challenge.
It was the older generation.
You'll never get a business started unless you can garden. Is that just is that blanket business advice? You've got to
do everything.
Some kind of metaphorical.
Yeah. And I took that. I feel like at least I took all of that to heart. And for the first year, I tried. Yeah, it's awful. And I tried to do everything. I tried to do the sheets. I did the laundry, the cleaning, the garden. It was awful. And I very quickly realized that there's a reason hotels have a team
Staff.
Yeah.
staff because they need it.
Yeah.
You can't do everything.
So who's been clipping those hedges with little scissors, because they're really well done.
You know, it's James won't mind. It's a local company called Ace Gardening. James
Ooh.
Davies.
Can we do our first shout out?
We can do a shout out for James. Yeah, 100%.
Shout out for James Davies.
They
At
do.
Something Garden, Ace Garden.
Ace Garden. You know, they do such a good job. And he has a team. I call them the Avengers. Really sad, but
Nice.
because every person has like a different skill set. So you've got the Hulk, who does all the hedges and everything, and he absolutely blitzes it. He does a fantastic job.
He just lifts them up with his bare hands and just
Yeah.
throws them around.
Yeah.
Fair, they make an amazing impact with in a very limited amount of time. Because when we started, they were once every 2 weeks, and it didn't look as amazing as it does now. But it wasn't comment worthy that the gardens were being tended well or anything. But to come here and spend 8 hours tackling 11 acres of gardens once every 2 weeks, and to have a discernible difference, difference, it's like,
You know what's
Well, they're the Avengers.
Yeah, the Avengers. You call them in. It's you know what's funny? Like they'll turn up and they'll know the bits that I've done because it's done really badly, and they need to do it again.
Yeah.
Like I just scalp the grass.
And I can imagine it's a little bit like a bad haircut. You can't grow that hair back. And if it's uneven, you have to wait for a whole period of time until Will's the penis that you've mown into the lawn.
that's why we advise. That's why we
Come on, Roy.
advise opposite to the advice we've been given, where just get the pros to do it.
Oh, just get the pros.
If
Just
you
pay
try
your
to do it all yourself, you'll do it all very poorly, and you'll have to pay a professional to come and fix it.
And a large amount of it is having trust in the gardeners to just crack on. I mean, they turned up today, and they did a fantastic job. I can see what they've done, but I didn't tell them what to do. I didn't ask them to do things. They just did.
You haven't paid them?
I haven't even paid them. Yeah,
They just turn up.
They just turn up. I don't even know when they're turning up next.
You got the Hulk, you got the guy with the scissors. It's absolutely remarkable.
Who needs a name?
But I was looking in your extremely nice brochure, which we've got displayed here in front of us, and there are now, I think, is it 11 different places that are registered to get married on
Yep.
this site,
Yep.
including a few outdoor spaces.
Yeah.
So talk us through, if I was to get married again, which I'm not going to.
You've got 11 choices.
Give me my outdoor choices, please.
Your outdoor choices are the Italianate garden,
Lovely.
the croquet lawn, the amphitheater, the chapel field,
The chapel field.
All the tea.
So where the cows are.
just the space right outside the chapel.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, not the graveyard,
Ah,
the chapel field.
okay.
The tea platform.
Has anyone decided to get married just outside the chapel? It seems like you're getting almost all the way in, and then
It's the newest addition to the.
It's like blue ball marriage. You're not quite married in the
just
chapel.
not quite there.
Well, it's because the chapel's not licensed, so couples that want to have a ceremony in the chapel, but have to sign their legal paperwork elsewhere. Up until the chapel field was licensed, they were having to return all the way back to Berwick House in the middle of their ceremony, sign the legal bit, and then hightail it back to the chapel before their guests got it.
Is that why you bought that fleet of golf buggies to ferry them back and forth?
No, we did have a wedding have tuk-tuks, and that was quite cool.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's very, very cool.
Yep.
So
now all they have to do is step outside, sign the paperwork, step back inside.
yeah, nice.
Works a lot better.
Yeah, very administrative. No joy, no romance. Just
None.
get the job done.
Paperwork.
Close your eyes.
Well, the signing, it does sometimes. The signing of the papers used to be done in the gun room. And for the longest time, I was like, is this okay? Can people sign their legal papers in a room called the gun room?
With firearms
With
and
firearms
whiskey and
like a little fireplace? And is that okay? But
I think
no one
more than okay. For long-time listeners of Series 1, the gun room was where we recorded what I can only describe as
the Halloween episode.
the best episode of all
Jane.
time with Jane. Shout out to Jane.
Shout out to Jane.
Oh,
Hope to have her back.
hope to have her back.
Mm.
She might come back. She might not.
Have to consult the crystal ball.
Mm. That
So-
was fun.
So if you guys were going to get married again in this house, which of the 11 different places that you could get married would you go for?
I'd choose the gun room. No, I've been dying to see the Italian garden used, actually. a bit outside. It's for smaller ceremonies, so like 60 guests or fewer or less. But I've been dying to see it used. It's been licensed the whole time.
And no one's chosen it.
No one's taken it up yet.
Do you do that kind of slightly desperate sell, like the kind of electronic salesman that's trying to palm off an old TV, and you're like, "But the Italian egg garden. Why don't you want to get married here?" And everyone's like, "Shut up."
I say like, don't you want to be the first? You make history here at Berwick. We've set it up before for a ceremony.
Really,
but
no one's used it.
no one's used it.
What about the tennis court? I don't think anyone's used that either.
Amphitheater.
Sorry, amphitheater. Victorian
Got
tennis
to get
court
the branding right.
is
There's no path down in the amphitheater, so you got to kind of tuck and
Roll.
roll
Okay.
down the aisle
I said to some
instead of steps.
So any gymnasts that want to get married,
Yeah.
tuck and roll.
sorted.
Tuck and roll.
I did a wedding tour the other day, and we went to the amphitheater, and the guy turned to me and he said, "So what is this area? What is it for?" And I said, "This is my roly-poly lawn," and he didn't think that was very funny.
Why? I thought we'd discussed this. Why is Will giving wedding tours? Cassidy, what's going on here?
It's a,
I wasn't in my slippers, so it's a step up.
It's a Plan Z.
Get the gardener from Ace Gardens. Can you do the wedding tour? No.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that tour actually.
Will did cook breakfast for 34 guests
Smashed it.
2 mornings this weekend.
Really?
He cooked breakfast after closing the bar down at 3 a.m.
Burnt myself too on the hand.
Oh dear.
Blood,
Yeah.
sweat, tears, and skin.
Terrible.
On every plate.
So that was the wedding that you had last weekend. So we're recording in early June. You took a little bit of time off over Christmas, which is
Did
a good
we?
thing, or did you
I
not?
think we took time off January.
I can't remember. Oh, we
I think we
went
took a
to
couple of weeks off in January.
visited my family in Florida.
Okay.
That was quite nice.
Did you manage, when you had that bit of time off, to not think about the business?
Absolutely not.
No,
No
I brought
way.
my laptop.
Yeah. We were still on the emails.
Yeah, you can't detach. It's impossible. It really is impossible. Right now, because we live here, it's very, very impossible to detach. So I'd like to get to the point where we don't have to live here.
Hmm.
We can live elsewhere in town, and we can just have a weekend and not think about the business.
Yeah, we get into bed at the end of the night and like pillow talk is like, what time is so-and-so coming in tomorrow? Or we need to restock on Pilsner. Or that's pillow talk for us.
When do you guys just have a non-Berwick conversation? Does that ever happen?
No, we went on a date the other day.
Oh, where'd you go?
Yeah, but it was it
Nando's. Where did we go? I remember. Maybe it
We
wasn't
went to-
Nando's.
We went to Embers.
Oh, you went to shout out to Embers in Ironbridge.
Yeah.
However,
Oh, dear,
you
don't-
say it's a non-work date, but I have to point out that we went there to get ideas because we're considering opening a restaurant.
I think it was, well, in my mind, it was primarily to
Date.
get out the house. And
I put it in the calendar. We have to book each other's time,
Of course.
of course. So I sent him a very romantic calendar invite.
Date.
For a dinner date. Yeah.
And did you just spend the whole time talking about Berwick?
there was a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it was about work.
Yeah.
But I love it. You can't get enough of it. I hate it and love it. It's like doing a massive poo. Maybe edit that bit out.
So you hate it and you love it,
Yeah.
notwithstanding the last comment.
Maybe edit that out.
What the hell?
We've got a new podcast editor. Shout out to Tom. He's going to have a bit of a
Where did that come from?
job on his hands. Unfortunately. Excuse the pun. Yeah.
Well, it's true. You know, running, I feel like, you know, this, and I'm sure a lot of business owners listening will affiliate to this. It's not something that you can stop running a business or even stop thinking about. And you're constantly thinking about the next thing. And the hardest thing in running a good business, in my mind, having done this for not that many years, is delegating and getting to know the team that you've built and put a lot of time in and going, right, I can't do this. I'm not a pro. You're a pro at housekeeping. You take care of this. You're a pro at gardening, Mr. Hulk. You do this stuff because I'm just going to scout the grass. And that's been the biggest learning curve, I think, for me over the past couple of years. You can't do it all.
For me, I was raised to be a people pleaser, for sure. So, like, the concept of delegation makes me feel guilty. I'm, like, asking people to do work that I should be doing for me.
Yeah. So Um, wha- so we had a conversation the other day, and Cassidy said, "Hey, Will, you're getting good at delegating, but you should stop asking the staff to make you a cup of coffee." And I said, "Well, I'll only ask them to make a cup of coffee if they're making their own coffee. I'll say, hey, do you mind making me a cup of coffee too?" And if they didn't want to make me a cup of coffee, that's okay.
Has anyone ever refused to make you a cup of coffee?
No, but I want them to.
I secretly tell them on the side that they can absolutely.
They can say no. I don't care. I'll make my own cup.
It's a really difficult one. I think as long as you're willing to offer them a coffee when you're going,
Oh, 100%.
there you go. It's a quid. Yeah, it's absolutely.
I
It's a
never
quid
even,
pro quo.
my we never even had like a cleaner growing up or someone to help out like around the house. We never had any members of staff. It was all of us, all hands on deck. So now that we've got a staff of almost 18 people, it's a whole new world for me, learning how to like gently ask people to do things without feeling guilty.
I think at the beginning you have to do everything, and I think that it really sets the right vibe if you're willing to be the person that stays up late or that cleans out the loo if if something's gone very, very badly wrong. But it gets to a stage that your staff will start questioning the fact that you're doing all of these jobs. It turns on its head, and they're like, surely Cassidy's got some better things to be doing, right? It's really nice and all that she's doing this stuff, but she runs this place. Like, this is a little bit weird. So there's that kind of fine line between getting stuck in, getting hands dirty, and actually being like, no, my time is worth more than this thing that I'm doing now.
It's a difference of running the business and running in the business,
Yeah.
I think.
As Michael Gerber would say.
In the email revisited.
In the
version 2.
Revisited. Your Bible.
The difference between being the technician and being the the manager, business owner,
and the entrepreneur.
But I think it speaks volumes when, from my experience working in like the hospitality industry, working in a restaurant, it meant a lot to me when I would see one of my managers like cleaning a tabletop or polishing glassware, or like no one's too good for these jobs.
Yeah, that's where I differ from you guys. I would rather not have to do any of that. And that's probably why I don't work in hospitality, to be totally honest.
Would you have respect though if that was your job to do something like that?
Once in a while.
But someone above you is telling you to do these things and they won't come near it at all.
My theory, for what it's worth, is that leaders need to be able to set really, really clear strategy, culture, vision. That's kind of number one. They need to put in place extremely good processes, and they need each employee to know what success looks like for that employee. But if you've got all of those three, you're doing a pretty good job. Anything else is value add. It's like a bonus on top.
But to put those processes in place, surely you need the experience of doing the process yourself to develop.
I disagree. I think why can't the team who's an expert in gardening put the processes in place? I don't know the first thing about cutting a plant or pruning it or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
You are agreeing. You said you disagree, but you are agreeing. I'm saying like you and I aren't going to be able to put together a housekeeping process.
Oh, I see. I thought you just meant the opposite.
No.
Yes, I agree.
So you didn't take much time off. You took a little bit of time off. You went to visit Harry Potter World, which
we did.
I appreciate.
Loads of ideas there for business.
Lots of business ideas.
Oh yeah. Well, interestingly, when we went through one of the roller coaster rides, the waiting room had pictures that were basically TVs, so the characters in the pictures were moving. And I was like, "This is the coolest idea for one of the rooms. If we just buy like I don't know, a couple of tellies, just have like 2 TVs that have a still image that's slowly moving or somebody talking, it would be really cool."
So no, we didn't take a holiday.
No, yeah.
So what you're saying is you are going to retrofit this place and pretend that it was in some scene from Harry Potter, ride off the coattails of the Harry Potter films, and make millions.
They are my inspiration. Harry Potter is my inspiration. So, yeah.
That's the way to do it. But as I walked in, quite a lot's changed. I walked in past a brand new reception. Very nice.
Thank you.
What else have you done? What else have you been busy beavering away on?
Yeah. What else have we done? We've done a lot. We have a new kitchen. We have a new catering kitchen.
You showed me the catering kitchen.
Yeah.
Was that the catering kitchen? I think there might be an announcement to make.
Yeah.
You got a food hygiene rating of
5 stars.
5 out of 5.
No hair.
Well done.
Say that.
No.
You know how
Well deserved.
your hygiene is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is a shout out to Tim,
Shout out to Tim.
our general manager,
Absolutely smashed it.
scoring us a 5-star hygiene rating,
Couldn't
And
have done without.
putting us in our place and teaching us how it's done.
What is the process? What is the difference between getting a 5-star hygiene rating and a 3-star?
It's a great Tim question.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I can try and answer it.
Give it a-
I think
give
I'd
it a
botch
go.
it.
I think I'm putting meat above produce in the fridge, because that meat could drip on the produce.
Yeah,
I think it's
well, there's a lot of it, if you don't mind. There's a lot of processes and systems that you need to have when you're cooking food. And if you don't have any of that, you're screwed. So you need to have all of it, 100% of it. And the other arm is signage.
it's all
you have
signs
if
you
you have-
buy off Amazon.
It's loads of
A
science.
lot of signs, and follow the signs. It's not
Haven't
rocket
you-
science.
I'm sure you've been into a business and you've seen those like employees must wash hands
Yeah.
signs, and then there's a depiction of how to wash your hands.
Yes.
Like
For an unbelievable amount of seconds.
yeah, until your fingers start dissolving.
Yeah.
is,
Yeah,
I
I've
think
never
the correct
done that.
protocol. Yeah.
So let's say I was having a barbecue and I was trying to go for a 5-star food hygiene rating, and I've got some vegetarians and I've got some meat eaters,
Yeah.
and I accidentally, without them knowing, which is I think important for this, without them knowing, use the same implements for my veggie flipping and my non-veggie flipping, which did not happen.
Yeah. There's
Would that notch me down to
I
it?
think technically you should have 2 grills.
No, you get in big trouble for that. As an example, I tend to do belts and braces. So as an example, you have a different set of chopping boards that all have different colors. So a yellow chopping board is cooked meat that you have to chop cooked meat on. There's a blue one. I think there's a white one, and you have to use each individual one and wash it properly afterwards before you move on to the next thing. So there are like bits and pieces that look, people go to school for this. People go to culinary school to learn how to cook properly, and also
Yeah, and you just went away and got a 5-star. Thanks to Tim.
Thanks to Tim.
Thanks to Tim.
Honestly,
Yeah.
without Tim, I don't think we could have pulled it off.
Because I believe the last time we met, funnily enough, for any listeners, wasn't the last time we did the podcast. The last time we met was a few weeks ago. We went for dinner. It's very nice. You had sticky hands. Can't remember why. You were kind of teak oiling something or varnishing something.
My
Came
hands
into
were
a very
like
nice restaurant.
falling apart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
falling
because
apart
I
in your
just
hands.
I just finished staining some wood. I was staining some wood, and my hands. I'd look like I'd been attacked by a dementor. They were just like completely disheveled.
Yeah, you know how Dumbledore looks like when he touches the horse.
Oh, when he's got the withered hand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Not a
no,
hand
it's
right, that one.
yeah, there we go.
And then you had to go back and paint to get the 5-star.
Oh yeah. We started painting at 9 p.m. I think we finished at about.
Finished around. Well, you finished at about midnight, and
Yeah,
I
I
carried on. He was just like, "I'm
Couldn't do
done,"
it,
putting the
couldn't do it.
paintbrush down and walked out. And I was like, "Okay, I'll keep going."
Yeah.
And now
It had been painted, but it hadn't been painted with hygiene paint,
Special paint.
special hygienic paint.
Okay.
If I were to do it again, I would not have tiled that room. We'll put a picture on the Instagram after this of the newly tiled room, and you can see that we should have bought hygiene panels
We should.
because it was a lot of tiling.
We should
It took weeks for me to tile that.
Yeah, Will wanted to save 20 quid, so he tiled the
Not
whole
worth
thing
it.
instead.
you learn.
It was the old what is now our catering kitchen was historically the milking parlor at Berwick
How
House.
was it?
So it's where cows were brought in and milked and sent on their way.
What is
So we had to build a false floor to cover basically what a milking parlor looked like back then was a smallish room with a drain in the center of the floor and almost like bench seating around the perimeter.
Oh.
So there's quite a big like pit
Mm.
for the cow.
Cow pit.
And
And
so
I assume the
the-
food hygiene people didn't see that.
Oh,
That wouldn't-
we covered.
That would notch it down.
We had to cover all of that up. So we brought the floor to like floor height for the rest of the floor height.
Yeah. Got rid of the cows.
We got rid of the cows, no cow hair or anything like that. We had to remove that.
Built a new roof with
Built
the
a new
help of the
roof.
estate.
Yeah, they leak proofed the roof. They did the plastering on the
The
ceiling.
reason we did all this to make a derelict part of the house back in action. Instead of just converting our existing kitchen into a catering kitchen, it's because our existing kitchen is quite original. It's got like the butcher's block countertops that we didn't really want to just slap stainless steel over.
No.
Whereas this like very derelict space with no purpose, it's not such a loss to create it to be like, it is completely stainless steeled, everything white
It looks
tiled.
very impressive. It looks like a proper job. And it also has an extremely expensive oven.
£12,000 oven.
A remarkably expensive oven that the council paid for. So
I'm a little bit alarmed that the like icon on the oven is a chef in a bottle.
You see it?
Yeah, that's like how it advertises itself.
Oh,
like
Phil.
a chef, we've captured a chef and trapped him in this appliance.
Oh, gosh, that's AI, isn't it?
Yeah, effectively. It is quite cool though.
It's a good oven. Yeah, it steams, does everything.
And next door to the oven is the world's biggest salt crusher. I've never seen anything like it.
Giant.
I thought it was a
salt
wine
crusher.
press.
It's a pestle and mortar that was designed for salt granules back in the Victorian days.
But it's taller than me.
It's massive. It's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah, it's huge thing. Like, you see pictures of the Victorian women and they're all like really butch. That's why, because they're using
Grinding
massive heavy equipment that takes it's hard work.
I'm sure it wasn't for grinding salt.
It is. It is.
Peppercorns.
Well, they might have used it for other things, but it was designed for big salt granules, and they sugar granules. Sorry, not salt. And they would have. It was like a complete luxury to have sugar in this country back then. So to have a piece of equipment like that, you had made it. It's like having the equivalent of, I don't know, one of those
Sports car today.
Yeah, or like one of those garages,
or a lazy boy.
or a lazy boy,
You'd say-
which I'm a very proud owner of.
You get home from work, if your wife would get home from work, you'd say, "Honey, come to the garage. I got to show you something." And in the garage is this big salt grinder. You're like, "I've made it. We've made
It
it."
is a representation that you've made it, and it is quite phallic as well. So
Yeah, now you put a little bit actually.
Yeah, the bigger the salt grinder, you know what that means.
you should put it. I tell you where you should put it. You should put it in. I'm going to call it the orange room. I'm not sure if it is called the orange room. The one that you've just done up. And if you're staying at Berwick House at any time in the future, book out the orange room. If it is indeed
Orangery.
The orangery.
it is maximalist.
It's maximal.
How are you feeling about it?
It's Will's old. It's the room that Will like toiled away on his indoor rowing machine.
Yeah, it used to be a gym, and it when we first sort of had Lucinda help design the house, and she basically designed the entire property. Her style is very elegant. It's very smart. It's very sophisticated, and I really wanted all of that, but I wanted one room to just be way over the top, way over the top, way maximalist, and you walk in and just go, "What the hell is this place? This isn't like my home at all." Because you go to stay in somewhere and you don't really want it to be like your home. Because if you wanted it to be like your home, you would have just stayed at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, it looks different.
It's got taxidermy. It's got a faux giraffe. It's got a gigantic champagne cork that's used as a seat.
And I love all of that. But I would also say that this is not like my home. Regardless of taxidermy, regardless of all that stuff, it's quite different. From
People come stay. And,
two up and two down.
I'll ask them what their stay was like in the West Room, and they'll go, "Oh, it was great. It's bigger than my house." And I'm like, don't make me feel bad. Just say you had a great stay and leave. I feel so bad. Do you know what I mean?
No, you shouldn't. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I really, really like that maximalist room. What else have you done to the house in the off-season?
We did 4 more en-suites. So we've maxed out our toilet spend.
How many toilets you got?
Or lose.
We've got 600 grand more. We've got at least 24 toilets. When we started with 24 bedrooms and 3 toilets.
The plumber said we can't get any more in, so we're going to have to get a cannon. It's the next step.
You're going to have to get a what?
Poo cannon. It's the next
We
step.
can.
We can't get any more loos. What are we going to do?
We have honestly put a loo anywhere that can have a loo.
In fact, so much so that did I not see that you put a loo on like a mini scooter and you were just riding it around?
Yeah, we over-purchased loos.
You over-purchased loos.
Yeah, we purchased too many loos. We bought loos in bulk.
Nice.
So
Good.
that
That's part of the email we visited.
Yeah.
Buy in bulk.
So many loos.
Buy low, sell high.
Have you
We've done
have you used them all?
Have we used every loo? No, definitely not.
I don't think I have. No.
Do you just go to the same loo every single time?
Yes.
That's so
Comfort.
that's narrow-minded.
No, it's
It
like
is.
you like to be in a familiar environment. If you go to a new loo, it's just like,
You know, we should test the loos because I want to make sure they all have good Wi-Fi.
that's really important.
You need to sit on the loo and sit on your phone for a little bit. It's mandatory. You know what I mean, Stephen?
I do know what you mean, but there are certain rooms, and again, if you come and visit here, there are certain rooms where the loo, it doesn't look like there's an ensuite in the bar in the bedroom. It looks like it's just a wardrobe, and I think that can throw people.
You're talking about the south room.
Talking about the south room, which has the most amazing view out onto the grounds, brilliant big room with a freestanding bath in the window, and then a big wardrobe.
Big.
And the first thing I thought was, where do I go?
The funny thing in there is it's got two wardrobes, one that's actually a wardrobe and one that's a toilet. So we tell guests when we check them into that room, oh, you're losing the wardrobe. And sometimes they'll open the wrong wardrobe and it's just a wardrobe and they think, really?
They be in a wardrobe.
Yeah.
Oh no!
That's why we put a chamber pot in there.
We did still
Settle
have
down.
some. So when we first started at Berwick, every bedroom had a chamber pot. And some of them are still lingering out.
I did see one. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We did. Will had to empty one after an event because someone used it.
Did they?
Gruesome.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, there you
that was
go.
a,
That's not the same one that had the Cocoa Pops in.
No, that was busy at breakfast.
Okay.
No, that was the Cheerios.
Just
you can tell.
because one of our biggest listeners is the food hygiene people.
Yeah.
They always listen to it. They're,
I'm sure.
and if they heard some of this conversation. I want to ask one more question. And I want to talk about the influencer party that you had.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the influencer party was a few months ago. And as a non-influencer, I didn't get invited, but that's fine. I don't hold it against you guys. I was doing something anyway.
Yeah,
It's
you're
fine.
busy influencing elsewhere.
Tell me what happened. This is, a serious gathering
It was
of
really good.
influencers.
It was so much fun. It was a lot of fun, and I can name all the guests that were there and contributed to the event. We had like 30 different people.
It was like
and
30
we had
wedding professionals coming.
Wow.
The one biggest challenge I found with it was that how do you allocate vastly different bedrooms? to
Number of followers.
people
Always number of followers.
when you want you want you want every influencer to feel that they're the most important influencer there. And so quite a few of the guests there felt that they deserved the top room and were quite offended that they didn't have
Yeah,
that,
we did.
Do you think they were actually offended? Did you, or is it
Yes.
just vibes?
as they're actually offended.
Won't name names.
They made it very clear they were.
There was one guest that was quite upset that they weren't in the smartest, poshest room.
We had to make some.
We made do, and they were very happy. And but yeah, it's marketing and presenting to people what they're going to get is so important. Because if you don't, you're really up a creek.
Did every influencer get to see all the rooms as part of the kind of tour?
Yeah. did.
Okay, that's yeah.
Yeah.
But they're all lovely rooms. I have to say, unless you put
They are.
someone in, your
Bachelors.
spare bedroom.
It was definitely a very wedding specific influencer event.
Mm.
And we've started thinking maybe weddings aren't the only thing we want to be doing.
Leaving that one on a bit of a next episode.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe
so.
a hush hush.
Mm.
Shall we take a break?
Cheers,